Tomodachi Life might seem like a silly simulation game, but it went from having an incredible cultural moment to almost fading away into a game barely anyone talks about, and then having a legendary comeback in the recent years. This game will always hold a special place in my heart, and with Tomodachi Life Limited Dream releasing soon, I want to revisit the main periods of Tomodachi Life's relevance and reflect on how important and special it was to so many people. So let's start at the beginning, the early years of Tomodachi Life. Tomodachi Life is a 3DS game first released in Japan on April 18th, 2013. It then launched in North America and Europe on June 6, 2014, a day later in Australia, and finally in South Korea on July 17th, 2014. The game features Mii customization, complex relationships, text-to-speech for your Miis, and even burning your Miis to a crisp. So it's like if The Sims and Animal Crossing had a baby. Most of these features were also present in its older, less popular sibling, Tomodachi Collection, which laid the groundwork for Tomodachi Life's success. We don't talk about the text-to-speech in that game though, and for a good reason. Anyway, Tomodachi Life became very successful after its launch, amassing over 400,000 copies in Japan. It later reached over 3 million copies by September 2014 when the game was released worldwide. The reviews were well received from critics, for the most part, and the general public adored the game. Players loved the game's humor, the random chaos, and seeing the Mii characters they created be involved in the most bizarre scenarios like family members partaking in rap battles, and Hatsune Miku and Obama becoming a happy married couple. It also got a ton of positive attention on social media. A lot of memes were created due to how creative and goofy the game is, and a ton of playthroughs on YouTube started popping up around this time, with popular creators playing at the time like Vinesauce and Swimming Bird, and Peanut Butter Gamer with his infamous Tomodachi Life review. And as a result, the game quickly became a global cultural sensation. It also helped that Tomodachi Life was released during the 3DS's peak, making it a classic among many who enjoyed the console. Though Tomodachi Life had a lot to offer, it also drew criticism. Many people complained that after spending a decent amount of time in the gameplay loop can get boring and repetitive. There were also complaints that it lacked proper structure and had barely any meaningful progression. And as someone who has been playing Tomodachi Life for years, I do agree with these takes. It can get pretty dull after seeing the same Mii interactions over and over again and playing the same few minigames 100 times. But there was one huge piece of criticism that sparked a lot of controversy, which was the lack of same-sex relationships. And this problem right here is arguably one of, if not the most important moment of Tomodachi Life's history. It all started with a rumor in May of 2013 that mentioned a glitch that enabled same-sex relationships in the Japanese version of the game. But Nintendo debunked the rumor, saying that same-sex relationships were never a thing. And people became very furious. The backlash grew so much that people started campaigns on social media worldwide, the most notable one being #MeEquality, as an attempt to voice their opinions about the lack of such relationships. All the outrage eventually led to a breakthrough, as Nintendo put out a response saying that, if we create a next installment in the Tomodachi series, we will strive to design a gameplay experience from the ground up that is more inclusive and better represents all players, marking a very good moment for players who wanted more representation. But while many people felt satisfied that Nintendo addressed the issue, they didn't solve it in the grand scheme of things. When the game was released worldwide after the situation, it still received positive reviews and tons of praise, but over the years, it began to lose popularity due to the fact that the gameplay started to become predictable for many, like I mentioned earlier. Nintendo also didn't announce any plans to add additional content or DLC for the game, and with all those factors at play, Tomodachi Life began to fade into obscurity. The game was looking pretty rough at this point, especially since it suffered a massive hit due to the controversy surrounding it. The fate of Tomodachi Life was pretty much sealed when Nintendo pulled the plug on Spot Pass content in May of 2016, around the time the 3DS began to decline in sales. It was clear that they had moved on from it, and it stung for those who had held out hope that the game would become something greater. But despite that, Tomodachi Life still maintained a tight-knit community that enjoyed the game for what it was, while passionate YouTubers kept the flame alive. One of the most popular examples during this time was DanTDM. Not long after though, the Nintendo Switch was announced in October of the same year. It became clear that they were no longer focused on the 3DS, and with that came the release of the Nintendo Switch in March of 2017. Tomodachi Life soon became a niche part of Nintendo's history as the Switch became their top priority, and the 3DS slowly fell into irrelevance when it fell off of their priority list. Despite this, the game's community refused to diminish as the years went by. From 2017 onward, more and more players started becoming active, and players who were more serious about the game discovered rare interactions. One example of this is that Miis and relationships can break up on good terms, meaning neither party loses any happiness points. The YouTube community also grew significantly, with creators such as Oh My Kawaii, Yub, Professor, RT Game, and Lauren Seaside hopping on the train. It even got to a point where the demand for a Tomodachi Life game on the Switch became more noticeable, whether that might be a port, a sequel, a remake, or hell, even a spin-off. People were begging for anything Tomodachi Life related to come to the Switch, but alas, Nintendo refused to let out a single breath about the game for quite some time. That didn't stop the people's love for the game though. In the early 2020s, the modding scene for Tomodachi Life became increasingly popular, and it was necessary to mod your 3DS or install a 3DS emulator to access additional content for the game. Many were cautious about it for numerous reasons, but the process isn't very difficult, if you know what you're doing. And from that point forward, numerous mods were created for the game, including ones that featured custom textures, dialogue, music, and most importantly, the mod that delivered the representation people have been asking for since the game's inception. It was a fantastic time to be a fan, as there were new and exciting ways to enjoy the game, and that was a key factor that led to a whole resurgence of the game. In September of 2023, trademark registrations for Tomodachi Life were renewed, and when people found out about it, they were ecstatic. Discussions about the game were booming again, and a huge stream of old and new players alike came to explore what's been happening. It was active like never before, and it only continued to grow from there. This was most definitely the time when the demand for Tomodachi Life on the Switch was at its highest. But even with the immense hype that's going on, there still wasn't a word from Nintendo about there being a sequel or anything coming. Until this happened. On March 27th, 2025, at the end of the Nintendo Direct that day, they revealed a game no one had expected whatsoever.
How refreshing.
The title of this game is Tomodachi Life Living the Dream, set for release in 2026, and the community exploded.
Oh my god! You guys! You guys! You guys! You guys! You guys! I was right! I was right! Oh my god!
Chat, I don't have another full Tomodachi series in me. I just don't.
A ton of people suddenly started feeling hopeless and felt an overwhelming wave of happiness and relief. The excitement people had for the reveal spread like wildfire on Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, TikTok, literally everywhere. Even a tweet Nintendo put out for the announcement of the game reached nearly 400,000 likes, easily making it one of the most liked tweets in the company's history. And that goes to show how popular Tomodachi Life really is. It was a great day because not only did the successor to Tomodachi Life finally come out of the shadows after so many years of silence, but it also felt like Nintendo gave closure to the people who have been passionate about the game for years. It felt like they heard the players and saw the insane dedication fans have for Tomodachi Life. And then they finally revealed the very thing people have been patiently waiting for after years of feeling neglected and forgotten. So, the reveal featured an entirely different art style for the game, Miis talking to each other of course, Miis jumping and having a good time, Miis watching an old man break it down, we can see two people fighting, the houses they're gonna be staying at, a number of different shops, and then we can see the entire island from a bird's eye view. It was a monumental moment for the Tomodachi Life community, and a ton of people, especially YouTubers, started making breakdowns and speculating on the reveal, pinpointing details some people might have missed and predicting what else will be featured when the game releases. This was also the moment where many people started playing Tomodachi Life again to prepare for the 2026 release. Fast forward to September 12th, they revealed another trailer which showed more gameplay elements of the next Tomodachi Life game. And of course, this brought a lot of excitement within the community yet again. In the second trailer, they show the old man saying,
"When is the game coming out?"
"We are wondering the same thing, buddy." They give us a more in-depth look at the new meme maker, which offers much more customization than the previous game, including more options for existing facial features and deeper hair customization. They show us the improved apartment rooms, hinting that we might be able to customize our Mii's rooms. They show us that we can put two Mii's next to each other and have them be friends, just like in Miitopia, and more silly stuff is shown later on in the trailer. And then they revealed more about the release date, which is now spring of 2026. "There still isn't enough info and I need the game now!" Afterwards, even more breakdowns and speculations were made, and everyone was even more engaged. And during all of this, it felt like the wait was actually worth it. It felt like the community was so full of life that it was almost impossible to believe such a thing could happen. And it felt like the community won a battle people assumed was lost. And now we're here in the present day, with 2 to 4 months left until Tomodachi Life Living the Dream releases, and still waiting for what I assume to be the final trailer and release date for the game. Man, Tomodachi Life is just such a phenomenal game to me, and I'm sure for many others as well. And even though years ago I played it so much that I got really tired of it, and even though there's not a whole lot to it, I still love the game to death and all the memories I have with it. You know, I kind of feel like Tomodachi Life was just an experiment, and Living the Dream was the real me life simulation game they wanted everyone to play. Wouldn't that be interesting? But if Living the Dream doesn't live up to its hype, at least Nintendo gave the series we all know and love the second chance it deserves. And where will Tomodachi Life's legacy go on from this point? Only time will tell. And with all that being said, thanks for watching my first video essay, and have a great rest of your day.